Welcome to Ancient Blueprint.
Imagine a city rising from the dusty plains. Its walls are so wide a chariot could race upon them. Its gates gleam with blue-glazed bricks, lions, dragons. At its heart, a colossal ziggurat. The stepped pyramid reaches for the heavens, a stairway for the gods themselves. This was Babylon, not a myth but a real place. A bustling metropolis that stood where modern-day Iraq is now. Here, between the life-giving Tigris and Euphrates rivers, civilization itself was forged. Babylon was more than just buildings and people. It was an idea. It was the center of the world for a time. It was a place where kings built legendary hanging gardens, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, for a homesick queen. The stories that emerge from its clay tablets and crumbling walls tell us not just about the past, but about ourselves. To understand Babylon is to understand the very roots of urban living. Babylonian society was structured like a pyramid. At the very top was the king, who was seen as the earthly representative of the gods. He held immense power and responsibility. Just below him were the nobles and priests. They managed the temples and large estates. They were the educated elite, the keepers of knowledge and tradition. Below the elite was a large and diverse middle class. Merchants, artisans, scribes, skilled craftsmen. Scribes were particularly important, as literacy was the key to administration, business, and law. They spent years in school learning the complex cuneiform script, writing on wet clay tablets with a reed stylus. At the base of the social pyramid were the commoners and farmers. These individuals worked the land, often as tenants on large estates owned by the king, temples, or wealthy landowners. They lived in simple mud brick houses, often clustered in neighborhoods outside the main city walls. Daily life for them revolved around family, community, and the local temple, which served as a social and spiritual center for their neighborhood. Finally, at the very bottom, were the slaves. Slavery in Babylon was a complex institution. However, Babylonian slaves were not simply property without rights. They could own property themselves, engage in business, and even buy their own freedom. The economy of Babylon was a marvel of its time, a vibrant and sophisticated system centered on its bustling markets. Located near the city gates and along the canals, the markets teemed with activity. Merchants from distant lands brought exotic goods, Egypt, Anatolia, Indus Valley. You could find everything here: fragrant spices, fine textiles, precious stones, strong timber, copper, tin. The Babylonians developed an advanced system of commerce that went far beyond simple cash transactions. While silver, weighed in shekels, was the standard medium of exchange, credit was the true lifeblood of the economy. Merchants and entrepreneurs frequently engaged in complex financial arrangements. They formed partnerships, took out loans with interest, wrote detailed contracts on clay tablets. This economic dynamism was fueled by a class of professional entrepreneurs known as the Tamkarum. They organized long-distance caravans, managed warehouses, acted as bankers, providing capital for various enterprises. The state played a crucial role in this economic system. The king and the temples were the largest landowners and employers. They collected taxes, not in coin, but in goods. This redistributive system, combined with the vibrant private market, created a powerful and resilient economic engine. The prosperity of Babylon was built upon a foundation of rich, dark earth. Mesopotamia, the land between the rivers Tigris and Euphrates, carrying nutrient-rich silt, deposited it across the flat plains. This annual deposit renewed the soil, making it perfect for agriculture. However, the rivers were unpredictable. Their floods could be violent and destructive, and the southern Mesopotamian climate was hot and dry. The Babylonians did not simply receive this gift of fertility, they had to master it. Their true genius lay in engineering. To control the water and unlock the full potential of the land, the Babylonians created one of the most extensive and sophisticated irrigation systems in the ancient world. They dug a vast network of canals, some of them large enough to be navigable, that diverted water from the rivers to the fields. They built dikes to protect against floods and reservoirs to store water for the dry season. This system required immense coordinated effort and constant maintenance. It was a massive public works project that bound the society together, managed by the state and the temples. The primary crops grown were barley and wheat, which formed the basis of the Babylonian diet. Barley was particularly important as it was more salt-tolerant, a crucial trait in an irrigated landscape where soil salinity could be a problem. They also cultivated date palms in vast groves. The date palm was called the tree of life. It provided fruit, wood, fibers for rope, and fronds for thatching roofs. No part of the tree was wasted. This agricultural abundance was the engine of Babylonian civilization. The ability to reliably produce more food than the farmers themselves needed was the essential precondition for the development of art, science, law, and everything we associate with civilization. At the heart of Babylonian political thought was the king. The king was not a tyrant who ruled by whim. He was a shepherd to his people. His primary duty, as ordained by the gods, was to establish justice and order in the land. The king was the chief lawmaker, the supreme judge, and the commander-in-chief of the army. He was responsible for the well-being of his subjects, for maintaining the temples, and for defending the empire from its enemies. The most famous expression of this ideal is the Code of Hammurabi. Created by King Hammurabi around 1754 BC, it is one of the oldest and most complete legal codes ever discovered. It was inscribed on a towering black stone stele, with an image at the top showing the king receiving the laws from Shamash, the sun god and god of justice. The code was not a list of new laws but a compilation and rationalization of existing legal traditions. To make justice prevail in the land, to destroy the wicked and the evil, that the strong might not oppress the weak. The code consists of 282 laws that cover a wide range of subjects, including property rights, trade, family law, criminal justice. It is famous for the principle of an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, but its application was more nuanced. The punishments often depended on the social status of the perpetrator and the victim. For example, an injury done to a nobleman would be punished more severely than the same injury done to a commoner or a slave. Beyond this famous code, the Babylonian state was run by a complex and efficient bureaucracy. A legion of scribes and officials managed the collection of taxes, the administration of justice, the maintenance of the canal system, and the supply of the army. They kept meticulous records on clay tablets, tracking everything from grain harvests to court judgments. It was this combination of a powerful, divinely sanctioned king, a comprehensive legal framework, and an efficient bureaucracy that made Babylon a stable and enduring political entity for centuries. The Babylonians were meticulous observers. Their curiosity laid the groundwork for modern science, astronomy, mathematics, priests in the ziggurats. They charted the movements of the stars and planets. They believed celestial movements were omens from the gods. In their quest to interpret these messages, they developed sophisticated mathematical models. They could predict lunar eclipses. They could predict solar eclipses. They tracked the paths of the planets with remarkable accuracy. They divided the year into 12 months. They divided the day into 24 hours. They divided the hour into 60 minutes. Their mathematical system was based on 60 sexagesimal. That gave them advantages in fractions and division. It's why we still have 360 degrees in a circle. They understood geometry, Pythagorean-like concepts centuries before Pythagoras. That math was practical for architecture, for land surveying, and for complex economic calculations. Architecture and art expressed royal power and religious devotion. They were masters of mud brick construction in a land with little stone. They faced their most important buildings with brightly colored glazed bricks, the Ishtar Gate, the processional way, decorated with mythological creatures and with geometric patterns. So what can this ancient city teach us today? How to govern diverse populations, how to create economic opportunity, how to establish justice. Their legal codes remind us of the enduring human quest for fairness and order. Their scientific achievements show the power of patient observation and systematic record-keeping. But perhaps the most important lesson is humility. Despite its power and sophistication, the city fell into ruin, its great walls crumbling into dust. It reminds us that all civilizations are fragile. Their legacy depends not on their bricks and mortar but on the ideas they contributed to the long story of humanity.
Thank you for watching Ancient Blueprints. Help us to grow our channel and bring ancient knowledge into the modern world. To help us grow, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. Feel free to comment below and let us know. What are you most curious about?